He reigns, he reigns, he reigns. Power of his love, he reigns, he reigns, he reigns.
Welcome to the Power of Love with Leslie Sharon Kiwobo. Leslie is a woman of big faith, believing deeply that with God at her right hand, all things are possible. And for you too. Join us as we talk about the ways we can live a life that is pleasing to God, while raising awareness on topics ranging from the foundations of a relationship with God to self-love, marriage, motherhood, and so much more. We are so glad you're here to join in on the conversation. Here's your host, author, speaker, and believer, Leslie Sharon Kiwobo.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome at the Power of Love podcast. I hope you enjoyed the time series we've ended last week and are able to implement it in your daily routine. This week, we're back with another episode called Dare to Dream. So let me tell you a little something about myself. People often call me a big-time dreamer, and in the beginning, I was offended that people would say that. But after a while, I came to understand that is how God made me. I embraced it, as is said in the book of Psalm, chapter 139, verse 14. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. I believe that being able to dream is one of my greater assets. I talked with a lot of people who were afraid to dream. Somewhere in their life journey, someone told them to get their heads out of the clouds, to come down to reality, or that what they were dreaming was impossible. The few people I spoke with had all in common that they were tired of the situation or circumstances they were living in, but they were equally afraid of envisioning a different life than from the one they're living currently. The time and circumstances have taken their ability to dream out of them. If you're in the same situation, I'd like to encourage you. Ask God to rekindle the dream He revealed to you. Commit to God and one other person that you will work to fulfill it. You will have people who know you tell you that your dream is impossible. You will be tempted to believe them, but don't. Nothing is impossible with God. When we look at the book of Matthew, chapter 19, verse 26, Jesus looked at them and said, "With man, this is impossible, but with God, all things are possible." You see, with God, all things are possible, and every form of barrier that may be standing in front of you or behind you or beside you will be broken down. As you choose to follow your dream, you will likely experience self-doubt. Don't believe that either. If God gave you the dream, then ask Him how to fulfill it. As is said in the book of Matthew, chapter 7, verse 7, ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be open to you. As I said last week, you can't feel what you haven't tried. What if that dream or vision you want the most succeeds? When I speak with other people in my community, they often advise me to not live with regrets. Don't live your life wondering about what if I had done this or that. Instead, give it your best shot. What's the worst thing that can happen? Not succeeding at first shot? Then try again. Not working? Then try again and again and again until it does. If it's yours, be determined to make it. As you begin to follow your dream, you will face seemingly impossible obstacles. At certain times, you will feel that you will never reach your dream in your lifetime. Believe by faith that you can do it. In the book of Hebrews, chapter 11, verse 6, there is said, "And without faith, it is impossible to please God, because anyone who comes to him must believe that he exists and that he rewards those who earnestly seek him." Overcoming the obstacles is where things get interesting. It is during the tough times that you will learn to trust God the most. It is during the tough times that you will experience answered prayer to the fullest. I'm not going to read the full verse, but have a look at the book of Matthew, chapter 6, from verse 25 to 34 as reference. It is during the tough times that you will begin to believe that your faith, though as small as a mustard seed, actually can move mountains. Just as is said in the book of Matthew, chapter 17, verse 20, he replied, "Because you have so little faith, truly I tell you, if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, 'Move from here to there,' and it will move. Nothing will be impossible for you." Through it all, you will have your own stories refined by your own trials. Those stories will be your testimony to God's faithfulness that you will share with others who dare to dream. You will discover that your life story, the one forged from fiery trials, will become your badge of honor. You will be able to say with confidence, "Nothing is impossible with God." Basically, that's what happened to me. As I grew older, my dreams not that I'm that old, but you know what I mean. My dreams became more profound, and certain dreams I held in, and some I currently still hold close to my heart, and the thought that they may actually happen. The thing about dreams is that they can be scary. That same fear will often hold us back from truly discovering our dreams, but also the plans God has for us. Now that I think about it, before I launched the podcast, I've been dreaming about it, but kept this for myself a couple of months before I ever spoke about this to someone else. For me to speak about it would make it real. Talking about our dreams with someone else not only makes them more real, but it then requires action. And sometimes we may not be ready to take action with our dreams. God wants us to dream, a dream where He's part of. Let Him know your heart's desires. Even though He already knows, He wants you to bring them to Him so He can show you what He has planned for you. It is equally important to know your skills or the talents that you possess. It is possible that the talent or the skills you have, God is calling you to that specific area as ministry. Serving God is not limited in church. I often hear people say that God has called them to do a certain thing, or they have gifted them with something and they instantly decide they want to open a church or join a church for them to exercise their gifts. I'm not saying that is a bad thing, but spreading the gospel is not limited in church. We actually should be more motivated to spread it outside the church walls. Some people will have the courage to seek the Lord in church, but that doesn't count for everybody. You can be a Christian politician and make difference in your working environment, if that's what God has called you to do. You can share the word with fellow students in school. There are so many ways that you're able to help in advancing the kingdom without necessarily opening a church. Be creative and don't limit yourself to the known. Be bold and explore the unknown. God wants you to dream about how your skills can help in advancing the kingdom. I can't say this enough, but prayer is the key. Prayer is an important part of our relationship with God. It is a moment of quality time. The more steady your relationship is with God, it'll make it easier to align yourself within your dream and His vision for your life. If it's something God has planned for you, ultimately you can't fail. because His promise always stands. Things may end up differently than what you imagined in the first place, but if God is directing the dream, rest in knowing that you cannot fail if you are doing good works for His kingdom. It's important to keep asking ourselves questions so that we keep God at the center of our dreams and not ourselves, because it's not really about us. Ask yourself the following questions. Does my dream line up with what I know to be true about God? Is my dream helping others and not just myself? If my dream never happened or turned out differently than I imagined, would I be okay with that? He already has instilled you with special skills and abilities. It's up to you to discover them, and even more importantly, to use them. Don't let fear keep you from dreaming. So get out there and dream on. That's it for this week's episode. I look forward to hearing from you. I'll be back with another message next week. Sending you lots of love. Bye.
Thank you for listening to The Power of Love with Leslie Sharon Kiwobo. We are so glad you've joined us. Connect deeper with Leslie. You can find her on Facebook by searching Leslie Sharon Kiwobo or at www.lesliesharonkiwobo.com. Her new book, My Declaration of Love, is available now. It is intended to encourage you and to stir a burning desire within your heart to seek God, to trust God, and let Him take care of you. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe so we can reach more people and so you'll never miss an episode. Until next time, we are with you in your continued pursuit for freedom with God.